What is up, Miami boys? This is the commish. This is the state of the league. You know what it is. You know what we do here. Let's go ahead. Let's start it off. I'm not going to say the format. By now, you should know the format, where we cover the previous week, which was week 6. We preview week 7. We do the award-winning categories. We go over the sleeper. We go over the weekly report, and then we preview the next week's games. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start it up. All right. Starting out with scores from week 6. Oh, come on, computer, don't be slow now. Yes, I'm wearing a Niners hat. You know why? Because I can. All right. Come on, let's go week 6. All right. As week 6 started off with the Chiefs beating the Broncos. Chiefs beat the Broncos 19-8. I will say this. We all know this. I'm not going to get into it. We all know the situation with Denver. But the Chiefs, you're not going to continue. I mean, they've been skating by. But you're not going to continue to win games with 19 points. They've been scoring low points. I don't think they've had many games over 20-something points. But a win is a win. Kudos to the Chiefs. Moving on. London game. We got London on the track. Ravens beat the Titans 24-16. Ryan Tannehill gets hurt in this game. Malik Willis comes in, does nothing. Lamar was able to just do enough. Zay Flowers showed out in this game. Even though Derrick Henry tried to keep the Titans close, it was not close. The Commies versus the Falcons. This was a stinker, 24-16. The Commanders win. Finally, a legacy game from Drake London. And I'm sure most of you had him on the bench. But it was in vain because the Commies go ahead and they beat the Falcons. Okay? Moving on. Vikings-Bears. Vikings win another. This was another stinker. It was a lot of stinkers on Sunday. Vikings win 19-13. Bears lose Justin Fields, and their season is pretty much over after being 1-5. The Vikings are trying to salvage their season or basically tread above water until JJ comes back. But they win a stinker 19-13 thanks to Jordan Addison and Kirk Cousins and the Vikings defense against the backup Tyler Badgett, who did nothing. Next up, the Seahawks versus Bengals. This actually was a good game, but the Seahawks gave this game away. Bengals win 17-13. Not a miraculous game, but Geno had chances to win this game. He held onto the ball too long, threw 2 picks. Cincinnati goes into the bye 3-3, right where they wanted to be, while Seattle at 3-2 is still trying to find an identity. Next up, did not see this happening, cost me money. Browns beat 49ers 19-17. I blame the kicker. The kicker invited his whole family to the game and then proceeded to go ahead and put on a stink show for his family. And if I was him, I'd be embarrassed for myself, embarrassed for my family, and I cost my team the win. Not only you cost your team the win, Debo, Christian McCaffrey got hurt in this game. According to Southwest Regional, they should be good to go for the Monday Nighter, and that is that. I give Glock Purdy a mulligan. You can't lose 2 weapons like that and look the same. Cleveland's defense is better than what it is, and their defense is going to have to help them throughout the year get through these games because P.J. Walker looked absolutely horrible with 2 interceptions. All right, moving on. My Miami Dolphins moved to 5-1 with a 42-21 win over the Panthers. As we all know, when this game started, it looked a little bleak, and it was like, hey, what the hell is going on? But as you know, myself and the commish, as we laughed over the phone, Miami is so bored. They're looking for new ways to motivate themselves. So this Sunday was, we're going to give you a 14-point lead, and then we're going to slowly embarrass you as we come back. and that's what they did by winning 42-21. And the only reason they had 21 because Mike White threw the pick six after Mike McDaniel pulled the starters in the third, because they got a more important game next Sunday, and we'll get to that in the review. Next up, Jaguars-Colts. Jaguars beat the Colts 37-20. Looked the best that they have all year. Gardner Minshew, 3 interceptions, multiple turnovers. The Colts, they just lost Anthony Richardson, and I think that their season is done. But let's see if there's some Minshew magic left. I doubt it. But the Jaguars at 4-2 are right where they're supposed to be. Moving on. Texans beat the Saints. The Saints should be ashamed of themselves. Derek Carr almost 400 yards, and they can't win the game. Kudos to C.J. Stroud and the Texans as they continue to sneak up on people, and you think they're a joke, they're not a joke. C.J. Stroud looks like a veteran, while everybody else looks like rookies. So, and he was missing wide receivers. So C.J. Stroud is that guy, your number one favorite for Rookie of the Year offensively. Moving on. You have the Raiders and the Patriots. Raiders and the Patriots, and the Raiders, of course, beat the Patriots 21-17. I never thought I'd say this. I would rather watch a Browns game or an Arizona Cardinals game than watch the Patriots game. Yeah, they're playing absolutely disgusting right now. Mac Jones, they refuse to bench him, which leads me to believe that they're tanking. Raiders win 21-17, and which was a stinker game. Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt. Raiders hang on to beat the stinky Patriots. Moving on. Rams versus Cardinals. Rams win 26-9. Cooper Kupp 7 for 148. Mighty Mouse Kieran Williams 20 for 158 was enough to decapitate the Cardinals, who are back in contention for one of those first 2 picks. Even though Kyler Murray just came off the injury list, the IR. And as you heard me just say right there, Cooper Kupp 7 for 148. We all wonder when the regression for Puka Nacua will come. It seemed like the regression started this week. So let's see if it continued to go down. Upset of the year. Jets beat the Eagles 20-14. I don't know how the Jets pulled it off. I can tell you it was because of 3 turnovers from Jalen Hurts. In week 3 or week 4, A.J. Brown was crying for the ball. And A.J. Brown has 7 for 131 in this game. No touchdowns, 7 catches, 131 yards. Yeah, you make your fantasy managers proud, but is this the start of the digression of the Eagles? Because it seems like Jalen Hurts is just looking for one person. Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith aren't factors right now. Only factors are Jalen Smith's legs, I can't call it the tush push, the brotherly shove, A.J. Brown getting every single ball, and surprisingly, DeAndre Swift. Keep it up, and on Sunday you'll lose to my Dolphins. And keeping it going, Lions versus Buccaneers. The Buccaneers should be ashamed of themselves. You come out in your creamsicle uniforms, you had just come off the bye week, and you only put up 6 points. Detroit is, I hate to say it, they're like my second favorite team. If that lady from the Chargers can have 2 teams, I can have 2 teams. I'm starting to love the grit and the fight from Detroit. They're 5-1, and they just push, man. They have a great offensive line, great defensive line, and they just push, man. Kudos to them, and shame on you, Buccaneers. Absolute stinker on Sunday night, even though people watched because it was so close and we all wanted to see the Bills lose. But the referees are so much that they're helping KC. The same can be said that they're helping the Bills. Giants lose 9-14. Giants should have won this game. The refs helped them out. Buffalo sucks. Nothing really much to say about this game. And Mr. Overrated, Justin Herbert, Chargers and Cowboys Monday night. Chargers lose to the Cowboys 20-17 because Justin Herbert does what he always does. He threw a pick at the end of the game. Even the little Asian lady with all the faces and all the, who looked like a plant, who looked like an actor, couldn't save the Chargers. Herbert missing wide. I don't want to hear Herbert compared to Tua anymore because Tua would have made that throw to Keenan Allen. Cowboys, I think, played their best game of the year. even though they only scored 20 points. So that is your week 6 scores. Moving on to week 7. Let's go. Let's go to week 7. Come on now. All right. Week 7, starting off Thursday. Jaguars versus Saints. Don't think it's going to be high scoring, folks. Start them if you got them, but I think it's going to be a low scoring game. Saints are 3-3, fighting for their lives, but a win could help them. Jacksonville 4-2. They need this win. Next up, Raiders Bears. Absolute stinker. Tyson Bagent starting. Justin Fields is out. Jimmy Garoppolo might be out with the back. This might be an absolute stinker, and it should not be at 1 o'clock p.m. Browns Colts. I expect the Browns to, and Mr. Massage comes back this Sunday. I expect the Browns to beat the Colts. Browns have the better defense. Colts just lost Anthony Richardson. Everybody's down. I don't expect them to put up much of a fight. Let's see what happens. I've been wrong before, but I expect the Browns to win this one. Bills Patriots. The Bills should absolutely mop the floor with the Patriots, who are openly tanking, like some other teams that I know. The Bills should win, but hey, they almost lost to the Giants. So if the Patriots were to beat them, I wouldn't shed a tear. All right? Remember, we got some teams on a bye. Know your bye weeks, guys. All right, Commanders Giants. Another stinker at 1 o'clock. These games should not be at 1 o'clock, but I understand that they have to be played. I wish they were at 4 o'clock. Giants Commanders. I predict the Commies to win. I don't know who's starting at quarterback for the Giants. I don't care. The Giants suck. And they're going to have a dilemma because it seems like they're going to have a top 5 pick. Next up, Falcons-Buccaneers. I expect the Buccaneers to show up, show heart, and beat the Falcons because Desmond Ritter's not playing at home. Buccaneers should come back with a vengeance and beat the Falcons on Sunday. Lions-Ravens. This actually should be a great game. The 5-1 Lions versus the 4-2 Ravens. Can't wait to see it. Both good defenses. Lions have a better offense, in my opinion, than the Ravens. Let's see what happens. I have the Lions winning this one. 405 games. Steelers-Rams. Steelers coming off a bye week. They get Butterfingers, Deontay Johnson back. Butterfingers. I have the Rams winning this one. I don't think the Steelers D can stop Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. Seahawks versus Cardinals. Seahawks should be out for blood for blowing that game versus the Bengals. The Cardinals have pretty much given up. And we know it, and we know that they gave up because they activated Kyler Murray off the PUP list. So that lets me know that they're giving up on picks this year, and they're just going to try to salvage something of a season. Next up, the Packers. The Packers should be frothing at the mouth to get that stinker that they had before their bye week, and they should beat the Broncos handily. A.J. Dillon hopefully can stop his farming game and play a good game. And I have the Green Bay Packers winning this one. Chargers-Chiefs, second game of the week at 4:25. I have the Chiefs winning this one because all the Chargers do is choke. Let's see if that fan is on TV for this one. I know Taylor Swift will be. Game of the century. Dolphins versus Eagles. I have the Dolphins pulling it out by 6 points. Dolphins absolutely have to have this one. They need to capitalize on the mistakes by the Eagles and don't fall for the brotherly shove. And I think Jalen Ramsey coming back to practice only lifts up that defense and motivates them a little bit more. And how can you not get motivated for the 8:20 night game? All eyes on you on Sunday. I expect the Dolphins to show up and show out. High scoring game here between both of them. And the Monday Nighter, which you should have Christian McCaffrey back, and you should also have Debo back. 49ers, Vikings. 49ers, mad over the Browns loss. They mop the floor with the Vikings. And 49ers win the game. So there you have it. That is your Week 6 recap. That is your Week 7 preview. And now we move on to the categories. Flying up the ranks, players flying up the ranks. What can we say about Cheetah? Backflip with the camera in the hand. 800-something yards. Might break Calvin Johnson's record. Probably will break Calvin Johnson's record this year. Tyreek is special. Travis Etienne. Tank Brigsby who? Travis Etienne is the heart and soul of the Jacksonville offense, and he's been showing it this year, especially with multiple touchdowns on Sunday. Got to throw Drake London in there. Drake, legacy game. Desmond Ridder finally said, "Hey, let me throw it to Drake London," but it was in vain because they lost the game. But finally, good to see Drake London being utilized correctly. But I would like to tell you, Drake London owners, temper expectations, because we all know, and me as a Bijan owner, we know. Arthur Smith, Falcons offense, blah. Kieran Williams, Mighty Mouse. Kieran Williams, who's currently sitting in Southwest Regional until week 11. Kieran Williams went out with a bang. Excuse me. Got to go back to his stats. Want to make sure I have his stats right. 20 for 158 and a touchdown before getting hurt. Let's see how much of a dip in production the offense takes with him being out. Cooper Kupp, 7 for 148. No Puka Nacua in this one. Cooper Kupp is Cooper Kupp. I don't know if it's the offense, but I just think when healthy, he's just that damn good. A.J. Brown, ever since crying on the sideline, you've hurt your team, but you're getting your numbers. 7 for 131. Can't say nothing about that. Dolphins have to stop him. I wish that they weren't playing against A.J. Brown, but it is what it is. We accept the challenge. Amon-Ra St. Brown. What can you say about the Sun God? 12 for 124 and a tutty. 12 for 124 and a tutty. You should be embarrassed, Buccaneers. But like I told you guys at the beginning of the year, it is the year of the slot. Look at all the production from the slot wide receivers. And Mr. Taylor Swift himself, Travis Kelce, 9 for 124. And most of that was in the first half. This game was over before it started. And Denver should be ashamed of themselves. This game was so bad, Denver just started cutting and trading everybody after the game. They're like, forget it. We're done. We're done. So those are the players right now that I feel are flying up the ranks. Let's look at the fast falling, and you should fade them. Fast falling, and you should fade them. Justin Fields, season over. I think he'll get because we know that the Bears are going to have a top 5 pick. We also know that the Bears hold Carolina's pick, which looks like the number 1 pick. I think, we can come back to this video and say if I'm right or wrong. I think that Justin Fields will be traded to the Falcons, and the Chicago Bears will draft Caleb Williams or Drake May. Moving on, the entire Buccaneers team. Not only because you cost me money, and I'm still not over that Mike Williams. Jesus Christ. Mike Williams. Oh, God bless the dead. Still not over the Mike Evans not catching a touchdown. Like, you didn't even try. Like, I didn't see it. Like, I saw no fight in this team. I feel like they quit. So shame on the whole Buccaneers team. Shame on especially when your defense did enough to keep you in there with Detroit only scoring 20 points. The offense was a joke, especially after a bye week. Mac Jones. When you consistently, I've seen people sat down for less, but for this being the 3rd week that the Patriots are starting Mac Jones, rolling him out there like the corpse that he is, letting him throw these lame duck interceptions, that is the ultimate sign of tanking. They are tanking for a quarterback. Mac Jones sucks, and the Patriots are shopping and trying to get in that top 5. Derek Carr, how can you have 400 yards and your team lose? Like, it just seems like you even got Jameis talking about, if that was me, this and that on the sideline to people. To Alvin Kamara. How are you guys losing games? How is Chris Olave not getting the ball and putting up Amon-Ra and Cooper Kupp numbers? Matter of fact, I don't even know the name. I'm gonna have to find out, but I don't know the name of the offensive coordinator. But something's happening here, where this team should be. Their defense is great. You guys should be winning more games than you are winning. Gardner Minshew. I know you got a lot on your shoulders. Taking over for Anthony Richardson was something that you didn't expect. Hopefully, it can be Minshew magic, or it's gonna be Minshew mustard, because the Colts are gonna be and their season is gonna be over. Gino, you got Kenneth Walker, you got DK, you have Tyler Lockett, the gadget player. You got Jackson Smith and Jigba. You got Noah Fant. You got this guy named Bobo. There is no way that you should be holding on to the ball for 12 to 15 seconds with that caliber of a receiver. I'm sorry. You get no love from me. You should have beat Cincinnati. You held on to the ball that long. They sacked you and they ended the game. Horrible clock management, Gino. Horrible. Excuse me. And honorable mention for fast falling Fatum, even though they're winning, I want to say the Chiefs. Because you cannot sustain scoring 17, 18, 19, 20 points, 12 points, whatever you score, and you don't look like the Chiefs of old. You don't look like the Chiefs from last year. You can't find a receiver other than Kelsey. Thank God you're giving Isaiah Pacheco a little bit more of running the ball this year. But come the months that's coming up, that December, January month, 17 to 20 points ain't gonna cut it. And you'll be going home with Taylor Swift. Or y'all be going to see Taylor Swift in concert. Keep playing like that. All right, rooks that cook. Only 2 this week. Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison helped Minnesota to win the game by getting the only touchdown in the number 1 receiver role. And Zay Jones finally got his first touchdown and helped the Ravens win. Okay, so that's all I got for rooks that cook. And that's the shortest list that I think I've ever had. Rooks that crook. Rooks that stole from you and should have been producing but did not this Sunday. Bryce Young. Bryce Young looked like he was going to put up some good numbers until the defense for the Miami Dolphins woke up. Bijan Robinson, I say it every Sunday, he is a product of his coaching environment. You cannot get 14 touches like he does every week and think he's going to do something when the D is stacked against him, and then for the rest of the game he's moved out to slot receiver. I hate Arthur Smith. I don't know what you're doing. Horrible coaching and a waste of talent with Bijan. I would love to see him on another team right now. God, can you imagine if he was on the Lions? Oh, man, he'd be putting up bigger numbers than David Montgomery. Anthony Richardson. We say a prayer for you, my friend. Get better. Do the shoulder rehab at Southwest Regional. Come back better next year. JSN. Do you even hear any announcers mention JSN's name? Top 20 pick. Top 20 pick has done nothing. Has done nothing this year. Bobo, the white guy, is playing more than him. The receiver for Seattle. Tank Dell was out with a concussion. He gets a pass. Jonathan Mingo. Where are you, Jonathan Mingo? Where are you? Because Adam Thielen had like 20 catches. You're nowhere. Jahmyr Gibbs, we're going to give him a pass because of the hamstring. But he's supposed to be coming back this week, so let's see what happens. And Puka Nacua. We all wondered, as a Puka Nacua owner myself in another league, we all were wondering, when is Puka Nacua going to regress? And we found out this week because he didn't do anything. And Cooper Kupp got all the glory. So it is what it is. Moving on. So that's all the rooks that crook that stole from you this week. All right, teams that pissed off the fantasy gods. The usual suspects. So let's go through the list really quick. Buccaneers, Giants. Cardinals, Patriots. I'm gonna throw the Saints on there because Saints should have a better record than what they do. Colts, Panthers are just a product of their environment. They're just bad. Bears, Falcons, and Titans. Those are your teams that pissed off the fantasy gods. And it looks like even though we are only in week 7 and there's still a lot of football left to be played, those guys look like their season is almost about over. All right. Speaking of that, teams that need a win to save their season. At the week 7 point for fantasy and reality, teams that need a win to save their season. First up, the Washington Commanders. They've taken some bad losses. They're sitting at 3-3. They need a win to save their season. The Titans at 2-4. We don't know how long Tannehill is going to be out, but I think their season's over. But at 2-4, they can still save their season. The Seahawks are sitting at 3-2. Even though they had an ugly loss, they can still save their season. The Browns at 3-2 can still save their season. The Colts can still save their season, but they need to start winning now, or else the season is over. The Saints at 3-3 can still save their season. It's when you get to that 6-loss mark is where it starts to go away from you. Patriots at 1-5, I believe that their season is done. Raiders, even though they're 3-3, they're in one of the hardest divisions. I feel like their season is done. Broncos season is done. Jets at 3-3, they can still save their season and maybe get Aaron Rodgers back in November. The Bucks, even though they're 3-2, they can still save their season, but they can't have a game like they had on Sunday. And the Chargers at 2-3 are gonna try to save their season, but I don't know, man. I don't know. All right, now fantasy teams that might need to make a trade and save their season. Future back-to-back weeks at doormat for the runner-up in last year's championship game. Finished second. Back-to-back doormats. Might need to make a trade, man. Just the segment, man. Don't get mad at me. Just the segment. Goggles. It was sweet. It was so sweet that you called out Henny. You got on the sleeper. You called him out, everything like that. I thought it, personally, I thought it was pretty funny. But then you made the cardinal mistake of not backing it up, and Henny owns you now. You might need to make a trade and save your season. You've been hit with the injury bug, and it seems that you've pissed off the fantasy gods. And last but not least, which I did, I'm the first one to make a trade to try to save my season. I traded for wide receivers because I was hurting. And which we'll find out in the weekly report, had the most points in a loss against the number one guy, one of the number one guys in the league. So I am still going to go out there. This is a message to you Miami boys. I'm still going to go out there. I'm still going to try to make trades, even though people are trying to hold on to their draft picks and stuff like that. Get at me if you want to make a trade. Let's talk deals. Chino already turned me down, so Chino's not trying to trade. Chino's trying to win it all now. That's understandable and respectable. That's what you did all the trading in the offseason for. And we all know that Chino doesn't really care about picks. But those are the three that need to make a trade and save their season. You are who we thought you were. You are who we thought you were. We only have two people on the list this week, and it's the two undefeated teams. Teddy, silent. We miss you, man. I understand you got the kids and everything like that. But kudos to 6-0. You are who we thought you were. Oh, I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Forgive me, Denny. We didn't even play the intro for Denny.
Coach, 4 picks against Grossman and 2 fumbles. What do you see about the Bears? We shut them down that way.
No, the Bears are what we thought they were. They're what we thought they were. We played them in preseason. Who the hell takes a third game in a preseason like it's bullshit? Bullshit. We played them in the third game. Everybody played 3 quarters. The Bears are who we thought they were. That's why we took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
You are absolutely right. Next up, and you are who we thought you were, the champ. Champ is 6-0, has handled his business. That's one thing that I think that as we go back and as we get older and as we discuss like this Dynasty league, excuse me.
Striving for more isn't just the...
Sorry about the ads.
This is Monday Night Football, October 6th.
As we sit back and we talk about this, and as we go through from year one, maybe we have a yearly recap. Maybe that's something that we'll do. I'll discuss that with the commish. But as we go through the recap, one of the trades that will go down in infamy will be the Tyreek Hill trade that Poppy Henny made to Kane's gang, and to the champ, to All Day Cuz. And I think the one thing that we'll talk about and that I'll always remember about that trade is that he claimed that Tyreek Hill was too old. He didn't want no old player who was traded to the Dolphins on his team, and he's going to the Dolphins and he's gonna suck and this and that. How's that working out for you? because it's damn sure helping the champ. Made him champ that made him champ last year, and now it's making him 6-0 this year. While you're sitting at 1-5, and you just got to win over the make a trade and save your season goggles, who's not the champ from year one, and he's not the face of the Miami Boyz League. So to the champ, to the commish, you are who we thought you were. All right, now it's time for everybody's favorite. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Why is everything resetting, man? Come on. The mighty have fallen. Oh, how reckless are crawling down. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Such a long way down. Such a long way down. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. You got one runner-up, one former champ on the list. First up, Goggles. How the mighty have fallen. Now that you lost you lost Aaron Rodgers, you lost Anthony Richardson. They're all sitting in Southwest Regional. You're not the face of the Miami Boyz Dynasty. You're going to have to do something to maybe try to save your season, because you were a third of a point ahead of this gentleman for doormat. And that's why you both are on there, because you are a former champ, Goggles, and Future is a runner-up from last year. Oh, how the mighty have fallen, Future. Future, you were the runner-up last year. Now you're barely scraping by. I don't even know who you got starting at running back. You might need to make a trade out there. Give up those draft picks, Future. I know you don't want to, but you might have to give up those draft picks, or you're just going to take these L's as they come. I know you can afford the doormat fees, but it's not nice being doormat, especially when you lose by, I'd be pissed off. Lose by that much to be doormat. It's looking like it's a long way down for both of you. But myself, Kane's gang, Henny, Cheesehead, we welcome you with open arms to the bottom. Welcome to the mighty have fallen. Let us go into the sleeper. Let's go into the results. All right, week 6 results. I lost 243.08 to Teddy, who scored 312.35. The champ won 262.28, and he beat Mikey, FEC Mikey, 226.62. Chino got back to his winning ways and won 226 in the narrowest margin of victory, 226.43. So you can hang your head up high on that one, Future. You barely lost. 226.43. Future lost 223.10. Cheese had lost to Kane's gang. Kane's gang finally got a win. 234.67. Lost to Kane's gang, who scored 254.23. And Poppy Henny finally is not going to go 0-14. He won 278.27 over Goggles, 223.13. Your stud of the week is Teddy. You got paid minus your non-voting fee. And Future is your doormat of the week. He loses to Goggles by 0.3 points. That's gotta suck. Let us go over the review for next week and see who's playing. Axe Capital, myself, plays FEC Mikey. The game of the week, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And it is the standalone game of the week. There's no co-game of the week. You have 6-0, the champ, versus 6-0, Teddy. Game of the week right here. Game of the week right here. I expect a high-scoring game. I'm interested to see who wins. Chino versus Cheesehead. You have Papi Henny versus Kane's Gang in the Gonzalez Bowl. You have then the two doormats. The one doormat beat out the other doormat in Goggles versus Honcho. You know what? Let's call that the co-game of the week, because somebody out of this might be doormat. So there you have it. Those are your Week 7 previews. Let us go over the weekly review. And let's get you out of here. Best manager, Hendricks. Future set a possible perfect lineup of 223.1 points. He set the perfect lineup. He couldn't have said it any better. Tough cookies in that loss. Worst manager was Mikey. Mikey had 272.22 points that he should have scored. Only scored 226.62 because of lineup changes, aka Saquon Barkley. Biggest blowout, you had Teddy beat me 312.35 to 243.08. Teddy is a powerhouse. Narrowest margin of victory, Sean over Hendricks, 226.43 to 223.1. Highest score, you had Teddy at 312.35. He is your stud of the week. Lowest score was Hendricks at 223.13. Overachiever was Teddy with 312.35. Below expectations was Chino. Chino should have scored 335 by estimation. He only scored 226.43. Quarterback of the week was for Teddy, Jared Goff with 53.55. Running back of the week was for Teddy, Raheem Mostert with 62.1. Wide receiver of the week for the champ was Tyreek with 58.5. Tight end of the week was for Goggles with 53.3 for Kelsey. Quarterback bench warmer of the week was for Cheesehead. Taysom Hill, who's actually a tight end, was 23.34. Bench warmer running back of the week was Saquon Barkley with 38.30 on Mikey's bench. Wide receiver bench warmer of the week was Drake London, but we all didn't know, with 9 for 125, a score of 41 points on the bench for the champ, but it didn't matter when you're that good. Tight end bench warmer of the week was for Sean. It was Dalton Schultz with 23.9. Going into week 7, I'm going to put some topics together for us to discuss. We're going to have a call very soon. Be waiting on that. Also, I will be getting in touch with the doormats. You need to start posting on... Commission wants you to start posting again when you pay. Post it on the chat that you sent the payment, so we won't have to be bothering you. So we will start that again starting this week. What else? Trade deadline. Remember, we're already in October. Trade deadline is coming up. I will advise you guys of that date because it escapes me right now. But trade deadline coming up. And yeah, let's see what happens. Good luck to everybody in week 7, not playing me. And this is the commish, and I am out of here. I will see you guys next week. Same bat channel, same bat place.
First up, we've got Shake.
And I'm out.